I did my internship with Distributed Network Software here in Erie. Distributed Network Software, in case you don't know, they're a startup company. They've become widely known in the Erie and surrounding areas for integrated business-to-business software. They've only been around for about 3 years now, and actually, the president was a Barron student, so Dr. Millett knows Nick Conzel. Even though they're a small company, around 7 employees, they're very strong and very organized. They have 2 main programmers, and they're just top of the line. You don't talk to them because they're in their own world and everything there. This company helps businesses prepare their current processes for secure internet communications. They also provide many top quality services for lots of different business needs. One of them is a countertop bell, which they built themselves as a chat service where you can talk to any of the employees at any time during the business hours and ask questions and get feedback from them. Also an inquiry collection, fulfillment, and reporting, which is a complete inquiry management tool. They also have Labor Connect, which provides membership management for local trade unions. They have a 360-degree feedback assessment, which creates secure anonymous feedback for employers to use. They have a secure online attitude and intelligence testing, which measures a person's attitude and intelligence for a specific position that a company might be looking for. They have a competency checklist, which allows secondary and post-secondary institutions to track competencies of different students. They have a secure timesheet tracker, which this has up to 3 levels of approval. They have the developer, the project manager, and the administrator. They also have a web reporting, which this is an automated website visitor tracking and internet search engine indexing service, which helps get your name out on the different search engines, which, as we all know, is a very, very high, one of the top reasons, like, for having your website get out on to all the people. An internship overview, I did a little bit of database scripting. I worked with one of the programmers on some of that. I did a lot of networking, learned a lot of different areas of networking. I did some web development. I worked on they got a new exabyte backup system from a client, and I had to do a lot of research on that. And I also worked on their DNS server a little bit. For the database scripting, I did different replicating of a database, different company database that one of the programmers was working on, and I replicated database structures for all the tables and views using the SQL server scripts, and integrated some static data into different tables that he needed done. This database had 5 main tables. It had a customer table, a billing table, a payment company, and a product table. Here's a little bit of the script that I did. Here's the 5 main tables and how they're related. For networking, I connected all, he had just gotten in a printer, it's a printer, fax, copier, scanner, everything, and he wanted all of his computers networked to it. So I worked on that for a little bit. I installed and configured an access network camera, which that was a lot of the stuff that I worked on. We actually had to install the camera up on the ceiling for him and get it all configured onto the network. Made different network cables, which actually, before my 350 class, I had no clue how to do. So as soon as I went into my 350 class, and he's like, oh, we're going to use RJ45s, and we're going to use Cat5 cable, I already knew how to do it because we already went over it, and I made it every day, practically. I also set up some CMOS passwords, which before working there, I really never set up a CMOS password before. But the first week that I worked there, all of his computers were basically, he had like 5 computers, and he had them all in behind locked doors. He shares this his office building with Stargate He has like the basement part of it. So it's all open, so all the Stargate guys and workers can all come down there at any time. So we put up some partitions and made some cubicles and stuff down there so that he was a little bit secluded from them. But we also moved all the computers out into that office there too, into the cubicles, so he didn't want them coming down and getting on his computers. So we set those up for him. Here's a view of the access camera. Someone moved it the day that I took this shot, so it's really not showing anything except the wall. But that gives you an idea of what it looked like. I also did some web development. Not much, because when I started this, I started the week before school even this semester started. So I really didn't do much with web development before this. So he let me mess around with a login troubleshooting page using Microsoft Visual Introdev. I don't have a picture of it for you because that's part of the site's under construction right now and I didn't have it. But mainly the page that was there before I got there, it was just a plain, it had a green background. It was really ugly. It didn't follow suit of the rest of their website at all, and it just had words on it and another link to go somewhere else to find help. So what I created was I took their logo and I put a white background on it and made a link back to their homepage or back to a login sheet. Their DNS server. I had not worked with a DNS server before in my life before I got there, so I really had to understand it. And to do that, I went upstairs and I worked with the Stargate guys for about 2 weeks. Nick sent me up there, and they really gave me an overview, and so I went back with everything that they told me, and I'd work on the server for a little bit, and every time I ran into a problem, I'd go back up there and they'd help me figure it out. So I did a lot of communication with the guys up there, and that really helped me, you know, that different companies can come together to solve their problems, and it was really nice. I learned the Windows 2000 provides a number of utilities for administrating, monitoring, and troubleshooting both DNS servers and clients. I used the NS lookup to help me solve some of the problems. The exabyte backup system. This system they had got from a client, had no manuals or anything to help me try to figure out what was going on with it. No one in the office knew how to work it. It was a tape backup system. And so I did a lot of just trial and error, different researching off of the internet to try to find it. And also this one that they had, it was discontinued. So I tried getting a hold of the company, and they're like, well, it's discontinued. We don't have manuals for it, and they really couldn't help me with it. So through trial and error, I figured out how to get it set up enough that it would do a backup for them. And with this company, they really don't change all of their files and folders. They only change like bits and pieces. So I came up with a full backup once a week, and the rest of the days I did an incremental backup, which only backed up the changes from the full or the last incremental backup. And some lessons that I learned here was that, of course, you got to have communication with everyone. You gotta know what's going on. And I learned such a variety of different parts of MIS that it really helped me figure out what exactly I went. I mean, I went through networking, I went through some web development and everything like that. So it really helped me get a broad overview of everything that was going on. Any questions?